How is everybody tonight? Carol, Josh, can you see me? Hello, mystery editor. How is everybody? I guess I'm chopped liver. I have the wrong thing up. I am good. We are still missing. Yeah, I was hoping to be able to go, but that did not happen. As you know. Getting into things today. Uh Before I get into things, I have big news. And I want to get you guys excited for this. So, hopefully, as I mentioned to Carol, ugh, sorry. As I was saying, big news. If you have not been on, hey YouTube Duck, it's been a while. How are you doing? So Carol already knows this, and if you've been either on the YouTube community page or you've been on the Facebook page, you have already noticed that for the month of June, every date has been scheduled. Well, not scheduled, but there is a topic for every single live in June. Going forward, that's the way I'm hoping to do it. So today we are doing Monsters and Myth. Tomorrow, Tuesday, Godzilla Monsters. Then Friday, When Foreign Invaders Attack. It is about the impact of invasive species. And then the next day after that will be story time, sci-fi or horror. Prehistoric mammals in my collection. Exploring nature, mayfly and fireflies. Learn to care, great hammerhead. Unconventional foods that go beyond beef. Um, unconventional foods that go beyond beef, exploring zoo and aquarium accreditation process, understanding AZA species survival plan, saving species AZA conservation programs, learn to care orangutan or orangutan. Thanks to Josh for suggesting that. Exploring nature songbirds, getting a glimpse of AZA educational programs, the truth about palm oil, educational, or sorry, the truth about palm oil, environmental threats, and endangered species. This will talk about some of the issues with us having palm oil in our foods, and also what you can do to not be a part of that. Wildlife conservation, how you can protect endangered species. I talked about that a lot. And it's a little bit hard when animals live so far away. The 28th of June we'll be talking about learn to care Chinese alligator. I know Carol said that she had never heard about that animal, so there you go. And then June 31st, we will be exploring nature again, this time talking about Mormon crickets. And that's as far as I got. July is still waiting to be filled up. So without further ado, guys, we are going to start tonight. No, I did not. So starting off tonight, we are going to be talking about the Kelpie. Have you guys ever heard of what a Kelpie is? If not, you're going to learn a little bit. We are stopping off in ancient Scotland, where the Kelpie is said to have lived. Kelpies were the enemies of man and other creatures as well. So these guys would have resided in or near waterways. Their typical form is that of a black horse that would appear harmless to people until somebody tried to ride it. Then the creature would gallop into the deepest parts of a lake or a river or the ocean, typically the ocean, and then drowned the rider. And it should be noted that once you are on it, you cannot get off. Kelpies are shapeshifters and could also assume the form of a man. Kelpies could be recognized by their hair. So if you wanted to know if you were facing a Kelpie in real life, they could be recognized, like I said, by their hair, which if you looked really, really closely, you would find algae and seaweed if you were to go looking. So that is a little bit about the Kelpie. From Scotland, we are going to move into Finland, where we're going to learn it actually, the Kelpie does not like the smell. No, wait, that's another monster we will be covering. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that, but if you were to see a human and they had kelp in their hair, could be a kelpie. So next up, we have the griffin. And this animal is featured in a lot of different countries. But we are going to be stationed in Finland for this one. This is a creature who is half eagle and half lion. These creatures have been found in many cultures, including those within the Middle East, Greece, and other lands as well. Now, griffins, if you don't know, mate for life. And if a mate were to die, then they would seek out another, they would not seek out another mate. Not in this case. In this case, it is just a griffin. It is the eagle and a lion that I know of. Though this claim may have been invented by the Catholic Church. They are also said to be the king of all creatures. They are said to lay eggs out of agates, and they are also said to line their nest with gold nuggets. And yes, they do guard treasure. Next up, I should have done more of these. I should have done like 13 of them. Next up, we have the Miro. Hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. And from Finland and Greece, we travel to Ireland into the realm of the fairies. We are going to examine the myth and the legend of the Miro. These creatures are actually a form of fairy, but they resemble more of mermaids. So some of these legends say that they guard sea creatures, give warnings of storms to fishermen, perhaps even guide young sailors on their way. Meros also have a dark side, and they are known to lure young men into the waves and under the sea. Thank you for the hearts. Meros are women from the waist up, but below the waist they are fish. Legend also speaks of male Meros who not so handsome at all. The female counterparts tend to be very much attractive. Yes and no. Yes and no. They are not exactly sirens. They are closely related to fairies, or a type of fairy. Male Meros are known to enslave men beneath the sea, while the females are known to do other things with men. From the Mero, we move yet to another creature. Sometimes there is a cap that they wear, and if a man could remove the cap, the Mero would not be able to return to the sea. Do I have the right creature? Maybe. Next up, we leave Ireland. Actually, no, we're going to stay in Ireland for this one. I apologize. We are going to be talking about changelings. Now, have you seen Labyrinth? I imagine so, yes. Have you guys seen Labyrinth with David Bowie? Where the baby gets taken and in its place there is a goblin. Okay. That is a changeling. And changelings are often used as substitutes in place of kidnapped babies. Now, they can be many things, including magical wood that is made to look like the stolen baby. They can be a magical creature that is made to resemble these creatures. They may be left by fairies, elves, demons, or even trolls. I don't know either. But let's say that your child was taken by a changeling. What do you do? What do you do, people? Would you know what to do? Let me know. Because I know what you should do. You should immediately make that changeling laugh or not pray, nope. Or torture it. No. We're going to talk about that. We are going to be talking about that, actually. The latter is said to have be the cause of many actual cases of child abuse back in the day. Yeah, so people who had children that were deformed or had issues or were sick often believed that the reason for that by the fact that the creature was a changeling. And thus, these children were either abandoned or killed because the families would blame the baby being taken on, the other, and you would have this changeling, and what you would do is you would just unalive the baby and say that it was a changeling, and nobody asked any questions. Sometimes being taken by the fairies was a way of dealing with infanticide that would be taking place amongst the family. Next up, we are going from Ireland and going to Scotland, where I'm unsure where this creature was born, but this is a creature that is truly horrific. And I don't know why it has not been used in a horror movie, but it definitely needs to. It's sort of like a centaur, but not a centaur. It is a man on a horse, except that neither the horse nor the man. I do not. I wish I did. No. This is the Nuck Lavi. And like I said, it's made up of two creatures, a horse and a human. Neither the horse nor the human have skin. So what you are left with is all of the muscle on the body being exposed. The horse part of the beast is usually shown with only one eye in the center of the head of the horse. In the summer, this beast is chained up in the ocean only to be released later. Its breath is poisonous and is known to kill crops. No, because the human part of it is actually riding the... Okay, bye, Josh. We will be talking about red caps. Just not yet. The human is actually riding the horse, and oftentimes it's just the torso and the hands that you see. Its breath is poisonous and is known to kill crops, cause droughts, and bring the plague and disease to humans and livestock. Now, these creatures absolutely hate the smell of burning kelp. And if they smell it, they hulk out. I don't know what other way to say it. They go nuts, and they will unalive anything around them, livestock and humans alike. Maybe both. There is only one way to protect yourself from this beast, and that is to enter or cross over fresh water. The Nuckelavee will not rise up out of the ocean, also if it is raining. So, any thoughts on what we've covered so far? Okay, moving on, we have the doppelganger. Now, I believe this creature may have originated in Germany. It is considered to be a wraith or an apparition of a living person. They are an exact replica of a person. And you can tell a doppelganger from the real thing because a doppelganger has absolutely no shadow. If you were to see a relative's doppelganger, that means that your relative has passed away. Sometimes they are your evil twin and may have committed unlawful acts. I don't know. I don't know that one. May have committed unlawful acts, so the actual person would be insinuated in the crimes. I'm probably going to get yelled at here in a second, so don't be surprised if you hear voices. The will-o'-wisp. These creatures are known throughout Europe, and they are found usually in marshes and are known to lead travelers to their death. I can tell you what's really going on in those cases where people see will-o'-wisp, but it's unclear exactly what the will-o'-wisp was according to myth, but it's often thought that they are spirits or children who were not baptized and passed away. You'll see a lot of that going to happen. No, nothing like that. Though a will-o'-wisp could also be a troublesome spirit, fairies, or like I explained above. Usually what a will-o'-wisp was or is a methane. Yes, swamp gas. Next up, we have one of my favorite creatures. We have the strigoi. And for this creature, we are moving to Romania. Now, strigoi are very much vampire-like, and there are different kinds of strigoi. If I'm not pronouncing that right, I apologize. So a strigoi mort was a reawakened, unalived person who sought to torment their family until everybody in the family is gone. Vampire myths may have been based on strigoi. If you had one of these 6 things happen to you, you were guaranteed to come back as a strigoi. Be the 7th child of the same sex in the family. So if you had 7 boys, that 7th boy would be a strigoi when it died. lead a life of sin, unalived without being married. Yikes. That's a problem. Unalived by execution for perjury. Ooh, that's a tough one. Unaliving oneself or being unalived by a witch's curse. Now you can protect yourself from a strigoi, but it's a very long, very gory process. I'm not covering it. If you want to know what that is, you can look it up. However, it is much simpler to simply turn the body over in the ground, and then the strigoi, when it woke up, would simply head off into the afterlife. I don't know. I think it would be okay. Now, finally, we are returning to Scotland. Only this time, we are talking about the red cap. Now, these creatures are a goblin, and there are many, many different types of goblins, but these guys are known to inhabit castles on the border of England and Scotland, and the red caps are known to inhabit the old castles. They may be in Croatia, but there are different. The one that I'm looking at is from Ireland, but they do exist in other places. These guys are known. So that red cap. Oh. Okay. The cap that they wear is red for a reason, because it has been soaked in the essence of their victims. It's the same essence that vampires need in order to live. If their cap dries out, they basically are unalived. They are known to throw stones at those that enter the ruins with the intent to unalive them. There are two ways to defeat a red cap. One is to quote the Bible, or to hold up the cross. Doing this will cause the creature to flee away and burst into a ball of fire. It also occurs in Ireland and in the Netherlands. And in Ireland, the cap that they wear is made of human skin. In the Netherlands, they are known to help out around the house, so it's a much more pleasant creature. Next up, we have fairies. Now, I know, we are used to seeing, we are used to seeing Disney's take on fairies, which are not necessarily mean. They're just mischief. They're full of mischief. And fairies could be that. They could be friendly, but as I mentioned before, they can be really cruel. By the way, fairies exist in many cultures and countries, even right here in North America. A human who is transported into the realm of the fairies cannot return if they have ate or drank anything in that realm. It's sort of like the legend of Persephone, where if you eat the pomegranate seed, you can't leave Hades. Moving on. Fairies and humans can marry. No, they are not. No, they are not. But Female fairies are known to kill their human counterparts, sort of like a black widow. Also, abusing any of the following plants. I'm not sure what they mean by abusing, but that is the word they used. Abusing any of these plants may bring revenge from the fairy folk. That includes St. John's wort, yarrow, hawthorn, foxglove, and groundsel. Fairies are known to sometimes steal babies away and replace them with changelings. Next up, we have the sea monk. Now, this is more of a cryptid. It's a creation by religious people. They've been spotted many times. But this creature's story starts amongst religious conflict. At this point in time, there was a bunch of upset amongst different religions, different denominations of Christians. Even the Jews were being put into basically ghettos at this point. And that is when stories of the sea monk being caught. It is really a monkfish, and if you look at it, yeah. So next up, we have the hippogriff. And hippogriffs have the front portion of a griffin and the rear portions of a horse, and they can fly. They will fight to the death to defend their nest and their hatchlings, and they're said to be very easy to tame compared with griffins. I don't know, never done it. They are said to fly as fast as lightning. Hippogriffs are born from mares and griffins, so there you go. Next up, we have harpies, people. Harpies. Harpies come out of Greek myths. Well, hippos are also called river horses, so I don't know exactly. Harpies are half bird, half woman. They are classically known to be the hounds of Zeus. They are the Persephone. Why can't I talk? The personification of storm winds. And they were sent out to do Zeus's bidding. Often they carry out punishments prescribed by the king of the gods, and they are said to be foul and loathsome. So, yay for Zeus. Next up, we return to Greece. From Greece, we return to Romania and learn about the Morai. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing that right. They are the cousins of Strigoi and the true vampire. They might have been living amongst us all this time, and we would never know it. Oftentimes, they are known as living vampires. Morai are said to have pointed ears. They may also have a smell about them. No, it is Moroi. So they may smell like death. There is a definite smell about them. And they will have fangs. Now, adult Morais, much more harder to tell the difference. They can be the offspring of vampires. Who knew that vampires could reproduce? I don't know. They may be the victims of abuse, had regrets before they died, unalived on a Sunday, or unalived again without being baptized. A good reason to get baptized. Just saying. Upon waking up from the grave, they will target family members. There we go again with family members being targeted. This creature can shapeshift, become as a ghost, induce nightmares. It has a hypnotic stare, verbal compulsion. They are stronger than humans. They need blood to survive. They are sensitive to the cross and other holy symbols. Repeating verses of the Bible affects them. Sunlight impacts them. They cannot enter a home, a church, or a graveyard. I'm assuming hallowed ground. They may serve the strigoi, so they're sort of under a strigoi. That is the end. That's everything I have for tonight, guys. I should have done more, because I know I talk fast. So that is all I have for tonight. So tonight we had Josh come in, Carol came in, Mystery Editor Lurks, Eric, the YouTube Duck, and Jake. And I'm thinking you two are the only ones left, which is sad. Next week, yeah, I don't know. Let's see if I can dig a little bit more about that. Morai, the next Teen Wolf, next journey. There's a next generation of Teen Wolf. Why? Why is that a thing? Supposedly Morai also have a normal lifespan and can die. Supposedly. There is another version of the vampire, and this is actually what, guys, I can't see you. Yeah, I'm sure that they are in. Darn it. Is that better? Yes, I am. At the end of June. Now, the Strigoi, think of Dracula. That's your classic Strigoi. There's also a child of a human and a vampire. And these are DHAMPIR, and that's sort of my old vampires that I used to write. That's what they sort of were. They're not. We'll talk about that though. I um these are the Mormon cricket, Eric, are the crickets that the Mormon pioneers faced when they arrived in um Utah. Yes, the kind that sound like popcorn when you run them over. That child. I cannot find anything about that. Um, hold on. Nosferatu is basically another word for vampire. Yeah. Um, size. They're sort of like um a half to 2 inches long. So 1.5 to 2 inches. But these guys, the difference between Mormon crickets and what we have out here, Mormon crickets are more like locusts, and that they come out in just swarms. They're not something you want to mess with. Yeah. So we will be talking about them and having a good old time. I want to start making lives a little bit more educational. We're not going to get a lot of oh, I can tell you about annoying. The tarantulas don't make noise too much, but male crickets in a cage in your room at night make noise. Um, Trying to incorporate learn the cares into it a little bit, figuring out how to do that. Are you serious? Who would name their kid Nosferatu? I could see Morai, maybe. Strigoi, there you go. Guys, I'm not going to let this go. Is the reason? Is it the topic? Like, was the topic boring tonight? Was it not as good as the last time? Because usually, we'll see how things go once we hit June. So it is on the, you can find it. Search for Monsters and Myth, and it should come up if you're searching in my channel. If you go to the community, if you go to my videos on YouTube, it'll be listed under lives. It's not something I want to do all the time. June will be the first month where I don't do something lighter. We have 3 Learn the Cares. So it's going to be an interesting month, I think. I like it too. It's not my typical thing. Yeah. So I'm covering what hopefully will be some interesting stuff. I did tell Carol that we're going to be in probably July looking into different zoos. I have not, and the tours that they do. The different things that you can pay extra for. And some of them are pretty cool. Haven't exactly figured out what all is going to be entailed in the next little bit. I've never played Diablo. I wish I could find. No, I don't. And I don't even have speakers. But I just learned something that is going to make my calling a little bit simpler. I can schedule my emails to go out at a certain time. So I'm thinking I'm going to send them out. I'm going to have them go out on like Monday night. Oh, yeah, I'm going to go cuz I have to do some laundry stuff and help mom and dad. So, I will see everybody later. Have a great night. Thanks for coming in. Again, June is going to be an interesting month. We still have a few lives in between there. I have not looked yet to see. No, this will be the first live that we did not gain any subscribers from. We are still sitting at 546. Darn it. Anyway, have a good night, guys. See you in the mornings. Bye-bye.